You're listening to 1 Minute Podcast Tips. Quick, practical advice to help you podcast smarter, not harder. Hit follow so you don't miss an episode. And now, this week's tip. This week's tip comes from listener Michelle Branham, host of the Living Her Purpose with God podcast, who asked a great question. How can you tell if a sudden download spike is genuine or just bot traffic? Seeing a big jump in your podcast downloads is always exciting. But before you assume you've gone viral, it's worth taking a few minutes to understand what's actually behind these numbers. Because sometimes a spike is genuine, and sometimes it can be caused by automated traffic, feed crawlers, or bots. So where do you start? The first thing I check is where these downloads came from. Most people listen to podcasts in dedicated podcast apps on their phone. So, if a sudden spike is mostly coming from something like Chrome on Mac OS or another desktop browser, that's worth looking into. Not because these downloads are automatically bots, but because it's different from how most people normally listen to podcasts. The next thing I look at is location. For example, if you suddenly see a large number of downloads coming from somewhere like Ashburn, Virginia in the US, don't panic. Ashburn is home to some of the world's biggest data centers, so automated traffic often appears to come from there. Next, I look at what was downloaded. Did one episode spike, or did your entire catalogue suddenly jump at the same time? If it's one episode, maybe it was shared in a newsletter, mentioned on another podcast, or picked up on social media. If dozens of episodes all receive a similar number of downloads over a short period, that's another clue that's worth digging a little deeper. And it might be something as simple as a new follower who has auto-download on their podcast app, so they're downloading a chunk of your back catalogue when they start following your podcast. And finally, ask yourself whether the rest of your analytics support the story. Did you gain new followers? Was there more traffic to your website? Did your newsletter get more sign-ups? And were more people talking about your podcast online? Because one of the best ways to spot unusual activity isn't by looking at just one metric, it's by looking at all of them together. Analytics tell a story, and the trick is making sure it all adds up. So celebrate the spike, just spend a few minutes making sure you understand what your analytics are actually telling you. Until the next time, happy podcasting. Thanks for listening to 1 Minute Podcast Tips, helping you podcast smarter, grow faster, and enjoy the process. I'll see you in the next episode.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.